We've got a couple of interesting stories coming up, including an analysis or a discussion with the author of the biography of Glenn Agliotti, the South Africa's best-known gangster, and there's some very strong business angles in that too. But Nairobi's first governor, Evan Kidero, aims to increase the country's revenues, or the county's revenues, at least fourfold to 28 billion shillings in the next 5 years, but faces economic challenges, including an accumulated debt of 53 billion shillings of the Nairobi City Council. Beatrice Gakchengi spoke to Kidero for more.
Currently we collect, our collection, the year that's just closed is 7 billion. And my projection is that by the end of 5 years, we'll be collecting at least 4 or 5 times what we've collected this year, in excess of 30 billion. A number of reasons is we'll deepen the collection and widen the net of the collection without overburdening the citizen or the wananchi of Nairobi.
Nairobi comprises of about 60% informal settlement. Now, with this in mind, we're looking at major infrastructure development challenges. You're looking at water, you're looking at sanitation, you're looking at housing. In your assessment, how much does Nairobi require to actually deal with these priority areas? And going forward, what are you doing about it?
As you rightfully said, 6 out of 10 people live in the informal settlements. There have been no formal housing programs. There have been no formal social services supply programs like water. And that's the reason why water costs 20 times in the informal settlements than the normal tariff as supplied by Nairobi Water. There's not been plans for the sewer system. So currently, with that population of nearly 4 million, we need probably something like 500,000 new houses in Nairobi for it to be sufficient.
On the back of what you've just mentioned, what is the source of funding? Because this is by no means a small task.
These are huge amounts of money. we've started, we're looking for opportunities. We have land. The former city council has got about, we have well over 20,000 acres of land. So we are looking for partners, people to partner with, so that we can provide long-term, cheap housing solutions for the city residents. We've started talking to the Japanese, and I have a few proposals sitting on my desk. But of course, this will be on the back of an integrated plan that is now being undertaken by the county government and the Japanese government.
With regards to bilateral trade relations, I know that falls within the central government, but as the Nairobi governor, are there particular relations that you're pursuing to help model this city?
Oh yes. We've have had meetings with the Chinese ambassador. I've had meetings with the American ambassador. I've had meetings with the British ambassador. I've had a meeting with the Korean ambassador, and these are all opportunities that we're looking at. And as you can see, we already have relationships with some cities, both in Europe and in America. So that is, those are opportunities that we continue to look at.
Now, you've mentioned a few cities that have caught my ear, and I'd like to find out on your end, which cities are you looking to fashion Nairobi after?
Singapore, because we more or less, Singapore had no raw materials. Singapore was more or less in the state that Nairobi is, but all that it took was the sheer willpower of the Singaporeans to build Singapore. And that's why I keep on saying, and that's what I would like to see, is that Nairobians must love Nairobi. Currently we have 4 million people who really, bodies are in Nairobi, but their hearts are not in Nairobi.
The Council of Nairobi is grappling with a very high debt level, and this, of course, has been passed on from regime to regime. Can you give us an indication of how much you're inheriting and going forward, what you intend to do?
The debt I'm inheriting is about 53 billion shillings. The question you've got to ask, is it real debt? The answer is no, because most of it are, there have been massive issues of integrity. So, I mean, we've accumulated debt without commensurate services or developments to support that level of debt. And as they say, when you're in a hole, you stop digging. So what I'm stopping first is to ensure that dignity and integrity and the employees we have and the services that are being provided to the city are services that add value and make a difference, services that bring a change to the face of the city. Yes, I mean, we're going to look for money to service these debts, but what I've done first is, one is to stop the hemorrhage, and then two is to optimize the revenue collection.
Talking of workers, if you look at the wage bill, it's sitting at slightly below 1 billion Kenya shillings. Now, is that sustainable?
It's not sustainable because, I mean, currently we collect about, the wage bill is twice the collection before you put in other operational expenses. And earlier on I talked about the money is being paid without commensurate level of service. That wage bill is absolutely not sustainable, and we are aware that there are a lot of ghost workers. So we are going to make sure only people who add value and provide service to the city residents stay in the payroll of the county government, in the county of government. So we are going through an exercise of identifying who are workers, where are they, what do they do, what value do they add. One is to take out names that don't exist. Then secondly is to look at the value propositions of the various activities that employees are engaged in, and then rationalize those values, the activities, and only keep the ones that add value, and probably outsource. I mean, people at times people think that if you outsource, you're not you're reducing jobs. No, it's just that, I mean, you have more people working for you, but they work for you as contractors, not as payroll employees.